5, 4, 3, 2.
Tier 1 performance.
Hey guys, welcome back to the In and Out Talks podcast. My name is Jordan Powell. Today we have a very special guest, the one and only Joey Scarf, currently known as Joey Martinelli. All right, yeah, but going back, Joey, I appreciate you making it to this podcast. Very special guest, being that we're from the same hometown. Didn't know I had such a softball star, so close to where I work at DBAT. But go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into softball.
Yeah, sure. So also, thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
Oh, yeah.
So I started really young, kind of like how my son is now. So my dad, I have two older sisters. They also played softball.
Okay.
Not quite at the level, because this was, way back when. So it wasn't at the level that it's at even when I was playing.
Mm-hmm.
But so I started playing at Lindsay Lions at like 6 or 7, when you could first start playing. And so I did, the Little League gig all through up until high school. But also I'd say probably through like middle school or so, and then I started doing travel ball. So we had a good group of friends where one of the dads started coaching. We kind of branched off and made our own kind of like travel team.
What's the league that you played in? Was it like the Forest Cove League or is it like Humboldt?
It was Humboldt.
Okay.
Actually, no, it wasn't even Humboldt because it was far. I mean, because we would practice at Baseball USA.
Oh, wow.
And so I can.
Was it the Texas Storm?
We did play on the Storm. So we were the Storm for a couple. We started on the Cobras, actually.
Okay.
And I actually remember the first year I tried out for the Cobras, I did not make it. And so then a couple of us rejects started our own. I think we were called the Power.
Was this like a new
Power.
thing? Because this was kind of like on the early stages of like travel ball.
Yeah.
Really
yeah.
young.
The Cobras was like, that was the team.
The
right?
team,
They
right.
had their like letter jack. Like it was like everyone wanted to be on the
Yes.
team. So didn't make it that first year. I tried out. We did our own team. It was like the Power. So like if the Storm, Impact.
Yeah.
And they're still around actually.
I think,
So it was
yeah,
like
they are.
those. It was that kind of. We played them a lot. So that was kind of like the. I don't know if you would call it the league, but that's what it was.
Your little round robin teams that you played against.
Yeah, exactly. And then so that following year, then I made the Cobras, and then so we did that for a year or two. Then we branched off, and then we were on the Storm. Then I was on the Storm for a couple years. So
Okay.
I did that.
Did you play any other sports as well?
I did. I played volleyball, and I also did track and field.
Okay.
So I did the triple jump.
Nice.
And then I did relays. So like
Nice.
the 100-meter relay and the 400-meter
Very
relay. Oh yeah, brutal. 400-meter relay was
a lot
brutal.
of running.
Yes.
And then where'd you play in volleyball?
I was a setter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I'm too short to spike the ball.
Very nice.
But I played volleyball my freshman and sophomore year.
Okay.
And then I'm not really sure why, but at the time I quit after that.
Did you
I
want
was
to
okay.
Did you want to
with
focus it
volleyball.
more on softball?
It was kind of that deal where softball was getting pretty heavy with travel and just games, so I kind of had to pick one ultimately.
Was softball always your number one, your go-to?
Yeah.
Where you always shined at least?
Yes, yeah. That one was more of that natural, kind of just pick that one up. And I played it for so long.
Now, I deal with some parents that say like, oh, if my kid wants to play, if he or she shows interest, we'll go that route.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did your parents necessarily ask you, hey, do you want to play softball, or did they just throw you in it and guide you through it?
Yeah, no, it was you were playing softball.
Yeah.
Your sisters played softball. You're playing softball. We've never really been into soccer as a family.
Okay.
So it was always just softball.
It was always just
never,
softball.
like, a
Did your
choice, yeah.
parents also play?
No.
No, just
No, I don't even know how that started. I think my
Okay.
dad coached some of my sister's teams, and he just really enjoyed that.
Okay.
And so we just kind of stuck with softball. Yeah.
Awesome. So, high school. When you got to high school, you went to Humboldt High School.
Yeah.
Back when they were pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say like during those years they were pretty good. You were first team all district at center field and second base. What was that like? Kind of solidifying yourself as an outfielder while also playing infield.
It felt pretty good. I remember, just to brag on myself, I guess, a little bit, I made varsity as a freshman.
Oh,
and
yes.
that was like my goal. Like, I don't know. I felt like if
That was what you were
if I
driving
did
towards.
that, like I made it. Like, you know.
Were your sisters also up there on varsity too, or were they?
So my sisters kind of got a raw end of the deal. So they moved quite often when they were growing up.
Okay.
And so I remember my oldest sister she didn't really play through high school. She kind of just stopped playing. My middle sister they both went to Humble, actually.
Oh, okay.
And so my middle sister did play softball, but she came in, it was like her junior year. And, you know, teams are kind of already
solidified.
formed.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Especially with upperclassmen.
Right, so she pretty much sat the bench. I mean, I saw her play a couple times, but so they both tried to play. But going back to the question, I actually played more second base in high school than outfield. It was weird. Like for high school, I mainly played second base, but then for my travel team, I was playing center field. So I kind of was doing both at the time. So I kind of started to love outfield more than playing second base.
Okay.
I think I just really loved throwing runners out, right, from second base.
As
Like,
an
go
outfielder,
ahead, run
totally
on me.
relate.
Like,
I can
exactly.
totally relate on me.
Like the diving catches, like that was just more kind of just what I really enjoyed.
And people don't give outfielders enough credit because, so I was a very intense player, and for me, when I was in center field, like you said, I played third and first,
Okay.
and then when I was a really big kid, and then I stopped growing.
Yep.
A little bit of those Asian genes kicked in, and so then I stopped growing. And then when I got to high school, I grew fast and I grew again. But at that point, I was just known as like the fast kid, so
Yep.
they put me more in the outfield, and they didn't give me a
Right.
chance in the infield. But I kind of it was kind of like a come to Jesus moment where I was like, I can either enjoy this and learn how to be the best in it since I'm clearly good at it.
Yeah.
And then, but then I took it into a level where I was like, we're the last line of defense.
Yeah.
And then I think an outfielder is one of the few people that can just silence a crowd.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
As soon as the ball's hit, you run into the gap and then you leave your feet, rob them of whatever momentum they had, or
Yep.
throw them out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, it is my favorite. I used
Yep.
to talk trash from the outfield all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I think people think, you know, 'cause especially when they're young like this, right? You
Yeah.
usually stick the not so great kids in
Correct.
the outfield,
In the
right?
outfield,
And they're like
right.
picking flowers or whatever, but like it's not like that.
It's not
when you
like
get
that at the
older.
next
Like,
level.
They are the last line of defense.
I was about to say, if a pitcher's best friend isn't, their catcher, or necessarily their shortstop if they're a rollover pitcher, but like it's definitely their outfield
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're saving them. Like I don't know what could be more exhilarating than robbing a home run.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It might be a little evil of me to say, but like taking the joy is my joy when it
Oh,
came
yeah.
to baseball.
Exactly.
It was my favorite thing to do.
Yep.
So with that being said, getting recruited, what was that process like?
Yeah, so it was mainly for me, it was not high school. I don't really remember college coaches coming to watch us play in high school at
Okay.
all, actually.
Right.
So it was all through travel
Travel ball.
teams. Yeah, so there'd be tournaments every year, like I think it was called National. This is so old. I think there were always tournaments where you knew college coaches were going to be at, but you had to qualify, right?
Right.
Because they didn't want anyone going. So you'd always have to try and qualify for those tournaments, and they would have them every year. Like I remember we went to Colorado every summer.
Oh, wow.
And that was where a bunch of college coaches would always go. So it was always during the summer when we would get recruited. And
Did you have to qualify for those tournaments to go?
Yeah.
So you were on a pretty good team.
Yeah, I mean, we were like a known team for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I think, again, it's like
Brand
the Storm,
awareness.
the Cobras, like
Yeah.
all of you kind of know that they're pretty good teams, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, so then that's where that would happen. They would come watch, and if they were interested, they would talk to you. They'd talk to the parents and just kind of get that conversation going. So that's mainly, it was all summer. It was nothing to do with high school.
And then how many people were recruiting you, or did you just Pitt openly sought you, and then it was pretty much a done deal after that?
So I had Pitt, I was talking to Syracuse as well, a little bit to Villanova, all
northern schools.
all up north. Because back then, and I don't know if it might be similar now, but down south it was the bigger home run hitters or
Right.
pitchers. That's what they wanted, and
Those
I
big
was small
Oklahoma,
and fast.
Alabama
right?
girls, yeah.
Exactly. So I was always talking to the school where they wanted quick.
Speed.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I fit more into that category because I had girls on my team that went to A&M and all those schools.
Yeah.
I don't know, Amanda Scarborough, I played with her. She's
Oh,
on
wow.
ESPN all the time. And
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, what's up? But I played. She went to A&M, but she was a really good pitcher as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I definitely was way up north.
And that's another thing, like people, I feel like a lot of parents also have this, especially during the recruiting, seeing boys and girls, they feel like, I want my kid to go play at A&M or UT or Texas Tech. And then like, not saying those people don't have a chance, they do have a chance of playing collegiate ball, but they don't look at the roster or what other teams recruit because,
Right.
I think, I was looking at Baylor, U of H, all these bigger schools, UT, and then I realized like I'm not 6'4".
Right.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not 6'4". I don't weigh 220.
Exactly.
I am not doing X, Y, and Z. And also, like a lot of these schools also just pull from JUCO as well nowadays.
Yep.
And so then me going up to like Rhode Island or these other schools, if you really fit into their tier, and I forget who told me that, but all of a sudden I started looking up. Collegiate baseball teams that have 5'11" outfielders, like
But you gotta know, right?
You
Like
got to.
I learned real quick that I was not a Southern school kind of fit. I always knew if I was gonna play, it was gonna be
somewhere else. Yeah, I always knew too that I didn't want to stay in state. Mostly because one, it was hot playing out there.
Oh yeah.
But two, like I always felt like there was also more out there, and then if everyone wanted to go to UT, I definitely did not. Like that's kind of
right.
like I didn't want to fall into that little train.
Yeah, I actually wanted to go as far as possible, so I was okay with talking to all of those schools that were quite far.
And
so.
like my dream school was Duke University.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like I loved it, and it was heartbreaking because they were recruiting my teammates, but like not me.
Yeah.
And it fell into that because like they didn't need an outfielder for my year. They had like 3 juniors. One was a potential draft pick. Like
right, so they were stacked.
And I ended up meeting like them in the regional later. So like they didn't pick up my teammate. But like I was like, man, like I just want this school so bad, and they didn't want you, so I had to you had to move on.
Yeah.
So what ultimately made you decide to go with Pitt?
So I went for a visit to Pitt. I had talked to a bunch of other schools, had some visits kind of lined up. Why I liked Pitt so much was actually because of the way that the school was itself, actually. Because I will tell you, back then, the facilities back then were not great. That didn't sell me. I mean, if you showed me them now, they're amazing and
I'm sure
beautiful.
they're through the roof.
Yeah, they have all new facilities. It's great.
Built off your hard work.
Yeah, exactly. But it was because it's in a city, so it's in Oakland is where it's at, and so it wasn't like your traditional campus, right? There were hills. I was like, what are these? Like, it's not flat. What are you talking about?
Yes.
I did like the weather. I thought I liked the weather at the time. Snow was actually awful.
When did you visit?
So I went. It was like fall, so it was beautiful.
So beautiful,
there was an actual fall, and then there was colors on the leaves, and so that just kind of the atmosphere itself and the girls on the team.
Okay.
I had a great time. I mean, they took me out, they did all the things,
Right.
so it was just. I don't know. It was pretty easy. I didn't go on any other visits. I was like,
The chemistry was already there.
Yeah, and it wasn't a very known. Like, no one really talks about Pittsburgh that much.
At least not
right?
down here.
Right, exactly.
Yes, 100%.
So that was also cool too. I didn't like you. Like, I didn't really. Now, would it have been nice to get recruited by A&M and all those big schools? Absolutely.
Sure. Who
but I
doesn't?
actually liked the fact that it was kind of unknown. It was
Yes.
new territory. Like, and it was far.
I get it. Like I was the same way when I went to Rhode Island. I had people ask me like, "Where's Rhode Island?" And I was like,
Right.
okay, well, it's a state, and
Right.
it's right there.
Yeah.
But when I went there on my visit, I was just like completely overwhelmed. I mean, it was right on the beach. They drove me around the beach. Not that we stay on the beach. They drove me around the beach. They took me out. They showed me all a great time, and then I was like, after that visit, they pretty much sealed it that we didn't have the nicest locker room. They didn't even take me to the locker room. Like
They were like, you don't need to.
like they don't
Commit
like,
first, then we'll show you.
Yeah, and then, it's like it's under construction or something like that, and they didn't show me. But after that, I pretty much it was a done deal.
Yeah.
And I knew for a fact they got me in the summer when it was like 75.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful, and then my first winter there was terrible,
Oh, yeah.
awful.
Right.
So I want you to kind of dive into that because not a lot of people from the South go up north. Two, not the people that do, very few stay. Like I think we're 2 anomalies, which is pretty great to stay up there. And then 3, how was it adapting? Because for me, it was very harsh reality my freshman year fall.
Yep.
And because like so many new things are thrown at you, but how was it for you trying to adapt?
So I will never forget, because down in Texas, right, like you have jackets, like, but they're like cute jackets. They're like
Exactly.
pink
They're stylish.
jacket. Yeah. So I had those. Right now I'm good. I'm ready. I remember calling my parents. I need money stat because I have no winter clothes. I was freezing.
I'm
So
gonna
that
die.
was the
Yeah.
first shock. Right.
Yeah.
So I had to get all new clothes, all actual winter clothes. I brought my truck. So at the time I had a truck, and I brought my truck up there, and
Oof, long drive.
it was a long drive, but did not realize.
Snow
There's
tires.
gonna be the snow tires, and there's gonna be ice on my window that I will have to take forever to defrost.
The scraper and the
Yeah,
defrost.
didn't have a scraper, so I had to get that. So that was a huge adjustment very quickly. So that was getting new clothes, all of those things. Also,
Your parents probably thought you were crazy.
well,
That's
I think my dad went to Villanova.
Oh, okay.
He's from up north.
So
he lived in Buffalo, so he knows.
He knows more
I don't
than
know how
anyone.
he didn't send me more prepared, to be honest.
He knows more than anyone.
Right. So it wasn't really, my dad was like, okay, like I think he kind of wanted me to figure that out, which I very quickly figured out.
Yes.
And so he was good with it. He probably laughed actually. So yeah, but that, and then hitting and practicing out in the freezing cold,
Was a
didn't
different-
enjoy that either.
Different different mentality.
It got to the point where I had to just stop being I didn't want to swing. That's how bad it got. Like, cause it hurts.
It hurts.
Right? If you don't hit it perfectly,
one
like it
talks
stings. Like it's and
Yes.
everyone else. A lot of my teammates were either from Pittsburgh. We did have a couple girls. We had a couple from California, from Texas, Dallas area. So like we're all kind of like adjusting together, kind of
Y'all are
sticking
the
together.
warm bloods
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
cold kids,
They're all
yeah.
making fun of us because we're all cold. So it was a huge adjustment. And then, conditioning is at like 5, 6 a.m. Having to walk. I mean, just getting up from your dorm and having to walk in the freezing cold weather, right? And then being sweaty and having to put your jacket on and go to class. So all of that was overwhelming. It was an adjustment. But also with Pittsburgh, like at Pittsburgh, did you guys have jackets, like the letter jackets?
No.
Okay. Some of those, like Notre Dame has them. Some of the
like
schools
a
up
thick
north.
Letterman's, yeah.
So like it was also kind of cool because Pitt is a very much like athletic school.
Right.
They're not like big on sororities, that kind of stuff. So if you had, everyone wore their jackets if you played a sport. So
We got them, but like it was like they were handed out to us, and then we had to hand them back. Like we couldn't.
okay.
We didn't
Okay.
get to keep them. Like
Yeah.
they're like thick, heavy duty.
Yeah.
And we could wear them like if it was game affiliated.
Yes.
But like after the game, we had a guy who took all our clothes.
Yeah,
and
so
then
we
just-
had those as well. So we had to give those back. But these were like in high school, you know how you get legit,
Yeah.
like it was those.
Oh,
You didn't
okay.
get patches, like no one put patches, but it
Right.
was, it was navy blue and you had the big P on there.
Yeah.
And so it was like, it was also kind of cool. Like I felt cool, right?
Yeah,
like
it was your
being
status
like an
symbol.
athlete. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was your status
so
symbol.
like it sucked. It was a lot, but I wasn't gonna. I think growing up, one thing that my parents have always like instilled was like you don't quit. Like if you're gonna start something, like you're gonna finish
Finish it through.
And so it was kind of one of those things. Like it was just like it was really hard, but I had my teammates. We all roomed together freshman year, like in like one big thing. So we kind of all just kind of. It was our freshman year was actually very tough on all of us. So we all kind of stuck together and kind of just formed that like we're in this together. We're gonna get
Was
through
it hard
it.
being away
like,
from home? Kinda.
In
Like,
the
it's-
beginning, I'm
it's a
like, I'm
love-hate
free.
thing, I
Like,
feel
this
like,
is
yeah.
great. I can do whatever I want. I probably took that a little too much over the top, but
Mm-hmm.
after a while, it was kind of like, oh, I'm
No one's
not
here.
going home.
Yeah.
Like for a while. Like,
It's kind of like you always know in the back of your mind you can call your parents whatever, but you don't have that backbone security
Right.
of like let's say you wake up sick because you just walked in 25-degree weather
Yeah.
with no jacket and mom's just a phone call away and no one can do anything for you.
Yep.
Your teammates aren't going to do anything for you. You better walk to health services
Yeah,
and
exactly.
get checked out. And I think that was kind of like that was a big kind of wake up call when something went wrong or. Like we've all been in that situation where you wake up and you just don't feel good from prior activities,
Yep.
and you're like, you got to be an adult here.
Yeah,
you got to
exactly.
be a big boy. And I remember when I had one jacket, and my mom, she's lived in Canada for a while, but
Okay.
she formerly she got me a jacket, just one jacket. She's like, you're gonna need this winter jacket.
Yeah.
And I had like my 5 or 6 hoodies that
Right.
you'd wear from like a football game in high school.
Yep.
And I put on like an undershirt, a t-shirt, a long sleeve, the hoodie with the jacket, 2 sweatpants,
Yep.
and boots, and I would march my butt to class.
Yep.
And I would just be like, in Rhode Island also, college campus sits on a gigantic hill.
Yeah.
And then I'm just falling everywhere from this black ice. Like me, the athlete who's never
Right.
never fallen a day in his life.
Right.
I'm walking back to my dorm, and next thing you know, I'm staring at
It's all new terrain. Like,
It's
I'm
terrible.
still here. Like, I don't
And then I think what got me too, academically, was things were done differently, especially in Humble ISD.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm used to doing things a certain way, and then you go to college and they operate on a whole different system.
Oh, yeah.
Whole different I thought it was crazy that I had. So I know you're also an engineering major. You were. I was too when I went up there. It was everything I'd always gone to one building
Yeah.
for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, hey, classes start Wednesday. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I'm looking at my schedule. They're in all different buildings on all different sides of campus.
Yeah.
And then within these buildings, I got to find this small little room that hosts 15 kids. And I remember this, and I moved in the week before school starts. So I didn't even do freshman orientation. I was late. I was late. I got there late. We barely got me in. And I was I had nowhere around my campus. I was late to every class.
Yeah. Right. Well, again, because now you're expected to. I mean, no one cares. I mean,
Yeah.
they're figure it out. Here's your schedule.
Exactly. Figure it out. Theme song to my college career was Figure It Out.
Uh-huh. Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, oh man, this is brutal.
Yep.
So after your freshman year, which you had a pretty good freshman year, I think. I looked it up. I did a little research. I did a little nerdy research. I think out of your first 3 seasons you started for Pitt, you only didn't start 4 games.
Yep.
Which is crazy. I couldn't get your senior year because all of a sudden there's a 2008, 2007 gap year.
Oh, really?
At least in the information online.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you did your senior year, but
No, I capped my junior year. That's for sure. That's for sure. I think I did. I was probably similar to my freshman sophomore year.
okay, because
But junior year was my best.
your junior year was
Yeah.
was outstanding. You had the I think you were the second Pitt Panther to earn All Big East first team.
Mm-hmm.
Super impressive. Even I couldn't do that for my conference. I think I sat second team my whole career. And then you tied the single season record for doubles.
Yeah.
Which is also, I think, also really brilliant because a lot of people look at center fielders and think contact slappers,
Sure.
maybe weak hitters, but you were able to drive it. I kind of want to dive into that. So what was your mindset as a hitter?
So I actually, up until freshman, sophomore year of high school, I'm right-handed.
Okay.
I was a right-handed hitter. And all through high school, I bat right, was right-handed.
Never divvied to the left.
Never.
Okay.
But my travel team, I started slapping. And so that was probably, I think my freshman year, I started doing that. I started slapping, and then I got hit multiple times a couple games, and I was like, I'm not running at the ball anymore. I'm just not doing it. I don't want to do this anymore. I kind of wussed out about it. But I saw the ball just better from the left-hand side.
Oh.
So then I just started swinging,
So you were you were always a right-hander, but you were right eye dominant?
apparently.
Okay,
Yes.
nice. Okay.
So I just started hitting left-handed, and I seemed to be pretty good at it. So I just never hit right-handed ever again.
When did you make this complete change?
This was probably the middle of my freshman year of high school.
Whoa.
Up until then, I was right-handed.
Freshman year of high school, and then you still made varsity off that? That's nuts. Okay. That is seriously impressive. Okay, that's cool. So being that as a May, obviously, what was the difference between high school and college for you playing wise? I guess competition. I guess you're who you go up against.
Yes. Yeah. So I think.
And not high school
question, actually.
Humble high school, because I know that's different. You getting recruited, playing with those recruits.
Yep.
And then going and playing against actual collegiate players.
Oh yeah, it was a very humbling experience, right? Because you come from high school, oh, I got first team, this, that, and the other, however many
Everyone's
years.
done that.
Exactly. If you didn't, then it's well, who are you, kind of a thing. So it was very, very humbling. My problem was the mental toughness. I lacked that.
Oh, really? Okay.
And that's what I feel like I could have really set myself apart from the others had I been mentally tougher.
Can you dive into that? Because mental toughness is pretty broad. What do you...
Sure, especially with hitting.
Yes.
It was always hitting. Fielding, I think I was pretty good in the outfield, so I felt pretty confident about that.
I feel like defense for most outfielders is their baseline.
Yes.
Yeah. You might suck at hitting, but defense, you play your defense, it'll pull you back out psychologically.
Right.
You know.
But I'd strike out because you will, because baseball and softball is a game of failure.
Failure.
Right?
Correct. Yes.
And I would be the one that would go in and be a baby about it. I'd throw my helmet. I would just get mad, and then that would affect my next at bat because I'd be thinking about that one.
And then snowball.
I'd be terrible at that one, and then I would get even more. Like, so it was that. I was kind of a big baby about it. And instead of like...
You're like a huge momentum kind of person?
Yeah. Yeah, so instead of feeding off of that and thinking about, oh, what did I do wrong? Let me correct it. It was, oh, I struck out. No, I suck. Like the rest of the game is, everyone's mad at me. Like a huge baby.
You're putting all that pressure on yourself. In reality, I always tell my guys, I was like, you have every right to be mad.
Right. Get mad, but use it.
You got to use it, exactly.
Right.
Like make that adjustment. What did you learn from it? And then move on. Like I always tell, like, because you always get those parents and be like, hey, don't show it, don't show. You can show emotion on the field.
Yeah, for sure.
You can definitely get mad, but you can't let it torpedo your next AB.
That was my problem. Yeah. So that would happen. And ironically enough, my junior year was the one year I essentially kind of like stopped caring about it.
Right. And then you can't torpedo.
And then and I wasn't even paying attention to like stats or anything like that. Like we went to the banquet, right, for the conference, and they were like, Joey, like you might get something. And I was like, why would I get anything? Like I don't even know like what my batting average was. Like I wasn't paying attention to any of it.
Right.
It was my dad, because I would call them after every game, and because they'd want to know, and I'd be like, oh, I was like 4 for 4, 3 for 4, but I just never. I just stopped.
You never stringed it along.
Yeah, I just was like, here's how I did, and I moved on. And so ironically, that year was the year that I did the best, as compared to all the other years where I was like very stressed about it and that kind of thing.
And I think that goes to show, because I was kind of the same way. Like my freshman year, I was just happy to be there.
Yeah,
I was so happy to be there that I was like, dude, I'm 9 hole, like, I'm 9 hole, like, yes, this is so great. Now, I'm just getting fastballs, like, you just swing and you do well. And I ended up batting like 300. And my sophomore year, I mean, to me, getting drafted was all that kind of mattered in the grand scheme, like. So, like, my sophomore year, I can't get drafted till my junior year because I have to be 21 at least, or come out of a JUCO. So, but I was at a 4-year school, and so my sophomore year, I was like, I'm just having fun again.
Right.
Like, it's cool. And then I batted 350, and then I was doing outrageously well. And then my junior year, this was a big year. We fell short, but honestly, mentally, I was so good. Yeah. And then I was able to get it again. Didn't get drafted, and then all of a sudden I felt like I had to do more than what I did previously. Right. In reality, I think if I just would have stayed the course, I probably would have ended up. But my senior year was my worst year. I put all that pressure on me. I was the only one of the main starters in the lineup that came back. Everyone else had graduated. We were a very young team, and I was a senior, and we didn't even make playoffs. And and then that's all she wrote, like right then and there. So that mental toughness aspect is not even taught enough, I think.
Yes.
And then it's especially if a high school student going to college hasn't had to deal with such like or is currently dealing, because you were dealing with a lot of stuff on top of that.
Yeah.
And so then dealing with that on a grand scale at a high level is very, 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 very tough.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice to helping someone go through that and deal with that, or get that mental toughness?
Well, I think just because I think about this all the time, because if you talk about like any regrets that you have in life, it's always that. Yeah. Like also switching majors is in a thing, but I did go back and get my engineering degree. But anyways, so
we'll get into that.
Yeah, so I feel like you just have to again, I tell Griffin this, my son, all the time. Baseball is a game of failure. Correct. You are not going to be perfect every game. No one is. You just have to learn it and you have to accept it.
Correct.
And that once you realize that, then you can take it and run with it.
Yeah,
yes.
It'd be so far off.
Again, yeah. So you just have to take that and run with it. Learn from what you did before. Try, obviously you're going to get mad, you can get upset, and you can, like you said, you can show emotion. Go for it. But don't let it affect the rest of your game.
Correct.
Like you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the passion and the love for the game, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you can be talent-wise on paper the best. Yeah. But if you don't care, then you're not gonna do anything with that, right? Like, right. But so I guess it's just really like you have to know that you're gonna make mistakes. It's gonna happen.
You have to accept the failure before it happens.
Right.
Yeah, I understand
and just don't let it affect.
And then you said something. You also said something about passion. So passion, when it comes to this sport, requires sacrifice.
Oh yeah.
So what? Can you for the especially the young girls or young players out there? how much, when you say passion, how much effort did you put into it, especially when you were growing up, going through high school, even training in college? Were you constantly working out? Were you constantly working on something? Or did you just take it for a ride and
Sometimes I took some parts of it for a ride, but once you get to kind of that level where you know kind of like, okay, we're going to keep doing this because the end goal is to get, to play in college, it changes, right? Like your mindset has to kind of change.
Yes, for sure.
I never had spring break in high school, right? All my friends would go and like, exactly, right?
Yeah.
I tried to work actually in high school. I wanted to get a job, but they never stuck.
Pretty hard.
Right? Because we have practices. I remember my dad in Kingwood, they used to have, I don't remember what it's called, but it was like one of those places where you had putt-putt and like the go-kart. Mount Asia, and they had the batting cages. My dad drugged me to those batting cages almost every day.
The outdoor concrete batting cages?
Yeah.
I remember that.
So he would work with me. I would go kicking and screaming, but I went, right?
Yeah.
And so that if I wasn't doing that, we were traveling and we were playing on weekends. So I didn't have weekends to literally go out with my friends.
Right.
In high school, it's tough. For me, it was tough because all my friends went out. I wanted to go be with my friends.
Right.
But also,
there's an end goal.
There is an end goal, and then college coaches did start talking to me, and so I was kind of seeing the results.
Fruits of your labor, yeah.
Exactly, and so that kind of pushed me to be like, okay, like I still would complain, no doubt, but it kind of changed. It shifted my mind where I was like, this is actually going to happen. Yeah. So you need to put in the work, right, or else.
Yeah. So let's kind of dive into the specifics of softball. Now, you faced all kinds of pitching, especially being up there. What is the fastest you ever faced, velocity-wise?
Oh, that is a good question. I remember when we played, was it Purdue? I think it might have been Purdue. We did play you guys. We played Rhode Island, I remember.
You probably crushed us.
I don't think so, but this is going to sound terrible. What is like an average speed now?
So,
because I have a number in my head,
I'm watching the softball World Series right now, and those girls are throwing like 70, which back in the day, like even when I played, I don't think we had girls on our softball team throwing 70.
I was going to say like 60, 65 was probably the quickest I saw.
Okay. That's kind of like what in the realm that I was, but these girls now, and I think some rules have changed, like they can drag and lift their foot off the mound.
Oh, yeah, see, they couldn't do that before.
Yeah, they can't do that before. Right. But I think as long as they start off with a drag, they can't just hop off the mound.
Yeah.
But I think they can start with a drag in the foot, they give some leeway. I think that's the rule now. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, but apparently like, I think the equivalent was like 65 was like the equivalent of seeing like 95.
Yeah.
For like a baseball player.
Right. Yeah.
And so that is absolutely wild, because that's what I was seeing in college, and then I never show any I never talked down on any softball team, because when I was in college I saw some of the softball players pitching, and then I saw my teammate like talking crap, and he got in there and I think he almost died, like all it takes, and there's nothing soft about a softball.
No.
I would rather get beamed 94 by a baseball in the ribs than take a softball 60 miles an hour in the rib cage. That does not feel good. It's a brick ball.
Oh yeah.
Don't even know how that is scary. But so seeing 60, 65, obviously, how do you prepare for something like that? Because the pitches, you guys have different pitches. You guys have rise balls, drops. You have way more avenues of trickery than us.
I think for like the really quick pitchers, honestly, if it looked in the zone, I was swinging on it, and I was just trying to get the timing. It wasn't really more so, okay, I'm going to check for like a rise ball and try and hit, like watch it, because there was no time to watch it, right?
Yeah, so you can't really break it down.
Yeah, like if it looked even remotely in the zone, it was because it was so quick, like you'd have to make that, it's a split second decision, right? So I would just kind of try and swing in that direction. Because, I mean, when it goes that fast, you don't have to hit it that hard.
No, you just got to make contact, right?
Exactly. So, but I was little, or short, I guess I'd say, and I was always probably 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
And especially when I was 2, I mean, they're expecting me to bunt. So, and especially being left-handed, so that was always like, so then I was like, all right, so they'd always move up.
They'd shrink the field for you. Yeah.
But if I was 3 and they're scooting back, I'm bunting every time, right? Like I'm just dropping that quick bunt because they weren't expecting it, right?
I actually still coach this to some of my high schoolers. I'm like, if you can get a good drag in, like you can get a nice bunt. If you this is my staple at Rhode Island. I would walk up and coach gives you the sign. I'm a righty, so coach gives me the sign, and then I look at the third baseman, like quick glance. If he's even with the bag, like I'll probably take a gigantic swing. My first swing is going to be like a home run swing. I don't care if I miss it or not. I usually swing out of my shoes. Shocker, I miss. Right, and so then I step out of the box. The third baseman does what? Backs up like 2 steps.
Yep.
And the next pitch, it doesn't matter.
Right?
And then that's a free base. And then you know what's in my head for the rest of the game? I did my job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swing for the fence every other time.
Yeah.
And then if he wants to come in, I will send him a rocket to third if I need to. Right.
Yep. Yeah. It's you gotta like you said, like taking a look at where the players are at. I would definitely use that to my advantage because especially being quick.
Yes.
You can drop the bunt, and I wouldn't slap it. I would literally just drop a bunt.
Drop a bunt, and you're down the line.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like recruiting for Pitt, like did they have any like I guess requirements that you needed to do? So like for us, I should say like, you know, most guys got to run like a 6'9", 60 under, throw X amount. They got to be able to run the bases at this speed, like, you know, or like hitting wise, you have to be able to, you know, at least drive the ball somewhere. Where there's specific things that Pitt made you do, or are they just like, hey, we like you?
Yeah. It would be they would just start coming more and more and more, and just kind of watching and kind of honing in on mechanics and what you looked like and that kind of thing. But no, there was no like it was more academics. Like you have to get a minimum of whatever on your ACT or SAT.
Okay.
And then you were
I mean,
in.
y'all are a very academically challenging school.
Well, but I'll tell you what, for athletes, the entry requirements I think were a lot more lenient.
I'm sure there's exceptions to the exceptions. We've all met those people, right?
Yeah.
But you were an engineering major to start out.
Yes.
So what happened with that?
Yes. So my father and my oldest sister, they're both civil engineers.
Okay.
I had no idea. I was 17 when I went to school.
There's no way you know.
No idea what I wanted to do. Engineering sounded great. It sounded like a good stable job that gets paid decent, right?
Sure.
So I was like, I'm going to do this. But again, I was 17. I was extremely immature throughout college. Actually, it took me a little bit to grow up. And so
Takes most people 4 years in college to grow up, right?
Yeah. And engineering is demanding, right?
Yeah.
Like you actually have to go to class and study
Yes.
and do all those
It'll
things.
punish you for having fun.
Exactly. And with that and softball and of course going out, because going out and softball were my main priorities.
Yes.
Didn't quite make it in engineering, right? And so about halfway through, I switched majors. My parents were not pleased at all, which now makes sense.
Right.
But I knew everything back then. So I switched majors and I switched to psychology. And so that's what I actually graduated with at Pitt, from Pitt. So I have a psychology degree. And then later I went back because that didn't really pan out as well as I thought it was going to.
No, I mean, but it's something to learn, right? Because I changed. It's like a carbon copy. I also changed my major, but I didn't change it once. I changed my major like 3 times.
Yeah.
But I went in, and I didn't. You had to like test into the engineering department, and I felt so bad because I literally did that to be like, yeah, I'm leaving.
Yeah. I took a kid spot and now I'm gonna go.
Yeah. So well, when I enrolled, they gave me 18 credits.
Okay.
And it was like a 4-year degree, and I was like, yeah, I want to do it in 4. And then I'm looking at it, and I was like, your freshman year you take 18. I was like, okay. I was like, the spring you take 17. I was like,
yeah.
But like, remember, I'm like you said, 17 years old. I don't know what.
Yeah.
18 credits? Sure. I only know is if it's less than 5 classes. I took 5 classes in high school.
Sure.
You know, that's all I know. And then I'm going to class, and like you said, I'm also going out. I'm also trying to make the team.
Yeah.
And I view college like there's 3 areas: social, athletics, academics. You can only thrive in 2.
Right.
You have to sacrifice one.
Yep.
Or if you don't want to sacrifice anything, you sacrifice your health.
Yeah,
and so,
right. Yeah,
so
exactly.
I chose my health because I think engineering was so hard. I was in our math class. I couldn't use a calculator.
Yeah.
In chemistry, couldn't use a calculator. You had to do it all by hand. And then I'm like, I'm looking at my homework. I was like, it's gonna take me like 3 or 4 hours to do everything. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, there's something outside. Like, we want to go out.
Exactly.
Like, and then you do the wrong thing, and then you get punished, and then your grades start to suffer.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh well, I was doing really good in sports. And then I remember I had this conversation with my advisor, scariest thing I've ever done. And she goes in, she's like, all right, let's see, your worst case and your best case. And so like my best case was like my GPA was like a 3.2, which I was like, oh, okay. And then they're like, and then my worst case was like a 1.8.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she's like, confidently, where do you see yourself in these classes? And I'm like,
yeah.
I really don't know. It's like make or break on the finals.
Oh yeah.
And we had already had a couple teammates like not play because of like
ineligibility. Yeah.
And I was an engineering major, and everyone else is like a comm or sports management major, and they're worried about giving a speech, and I got to take this Cal
and you're
2
doing
test.
derivatives and all the things.
I got to take this, and I remember calling my dad, and I was like, there's a very good chance. There's a possible chance I may not be able to play in the spring, and I might just have to redshirt. And my dad was just like, well, just make sure you redshirt, like do whatever you can. And then my mom, she's always like the academic weapon of the family.
Yeah.
She was like, are you
like,
kidding
what do you
me?
mean? Yeah, right.
She's like, what, tutoring, all this stuff, like you know how to, and I'm just like, I hear you, I just don't know. Yep. And like luckily I ended up getting like a 2.9 or something, but I changed majors that spring.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there's no way. There were like Cal 3 in the spring.
Yeah.
We're traveling. I was like, there's like a whole month I'm gone.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to deal with that. So then I went to geology, and then I changed to environmental science and management. And I graduated with that. And then I ended up going to University of Florida and getting my environmental engineering degree.
Okay.
And the master's of that as well. So
nice.
Yeah, we ended up finishing it up.
Yep.
So what do you currently do now?
So I did go back. I went to Lamar University in Beaumont and got my civil engineering degree.
Okay.
Which is funny because I don't really do civil now. So I work at Exxon.
Okay.
And I am so when I was going to school the second time, I started an internship doing more of like marine type engineering. Okay. So like docks. So like your vessels come in. So those structures. So I started doing an internship there. I ended up working there for like 5.5 years after I finished school. Okay. And so I'm doing something very similar at Exxon now. So
you deal with the Coast Guard a lot?
I do deal with the Coast Guard sometimes, yes. Yeah. But I'm a marine terminal engineer is my title there.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. And so kind of peeling back before you started your secondary school, when softball finally ended for you, how brutal and rough was that, and what was it like converting back to normalcy and like regular life? Yeah.
It was tough. Again, humbling experience, right? Because I'm doing all this in school. I have my life there.
It's your identity.
Yeah, and then I graduate, and I moved back. So I came back to Texas, and it was kind of like my parents were like, "All right, so
do something,
get a job."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What am I gonna do?" I didn't really think it all through, right? I just wanted to graduate at the time. But
it's the goal, yeah.
With psychology, I feel like you kind of have to go on and get like masters for the most part. I'm sure there's other. I didn't even know, right? And I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I have no idea. So I actually went back and got. It was rough, right? I had no idea. I went and got my teaching certificate because at the time, if you had a degree, you could take like a year of classes at I went to like Lone Star. Yeah. And got my teaching certificate.
And you can be a teacher.
And I taught 4th grade math and science for 1 year. It was the hardest job. I had no idea what I was doing. It was a tough school also, so I wasn't really teaching. It was kind of more just like babysitting. So that did not last very long at all. Okay. So then I'm like, now what do I do? And then I went to work for Occidental or Oxy, the big sign at the Astros game. So I went to go work at Oxy, more on like the marketing side, so like the traders, financial risk, that kind of thing. I did that for like 4.5 years. But again, I had quit engineering, right? And so that had always been like eating at me. And so I left that job and I moved to Beaumont and went to school. Oh, wow. At like 31. And then that's whenever I finished my engineering degree and kind of did that. So it was.
So when you were going through that, identity crisis, kind of like, I mean, essentially that's what it is.
Yeah, of course.
That's how I felt like I moved back home. Oh, one, I didn't want to come back home.
I didn't either.
I'm the biggest. I for sure was like, I'm never coming back home. Why would I come back home? Yep. And then, the reality side, I graduated. I tried to do the whole pro thing. It didn't work out. I'm living out of my car. Yep. I got $200 to my name, and my parents are like, you can come here. You can come back. Right. And then like I get back home. I'm not gonna lie, I was depressed. You go from king of the campus. Everything to now, hey, we're back where we are when we were 18.
Exactly.
Like, parents' house under that. And then, my dad comes wandering around like after a month and he's like, get a job.
Right.
He's like, or I'm going to have to start charging you rent.
Yeah.
And
you're in the real world now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, welcome.
And I mean, and then that's when that starts that identity. And like, who are you after your sport is taken away? And, some people cope by finding a job. Some people cope by, starting a family. Other people cope in worser ways.
Sure.
Yeah, and then but it's ultimately finding a way to for me, it's finding something that I enjoy as much as I did in baseball. Like,
Yeah.
for example, this podcast, I really enjoy this.
Yeah.
Super fun. But the part of me that's missing is that competitive edge because I have
Yes.
nothing to compete against.
Yep.
And I think that's why a lot of former athletes fall into gambling.
Yeah.
I
do enjoy gambling.
Yeah, I enjoy like especially like fantasy football. I know drives my better half nuts.
Yeah, sure.
It drives her absolutely. She gets stressed out about it, and because I'm stressed out about it.
Right.
But it's intense, and I'm loving it. And like I know it's kind of like being able to separate that out. And for me, once I was able to, I couldn't put it together. I couldn't understand why I was feeling bad, why I was so down. I just felt like a loser, and I also like not having money didn't help either.
Right.
And like relying on others. You used to go so independent. People used to make money off your name. Like,
Yeah,
and
right.
now you're a citizen. It's back to normal, and learning how to cope with that is very hard. Is a very hard thing to do.
Yes. I think I'm pretty thankful for my parents because they didn't really give me a choice to like mope. Like,
Yeah.
because I was in the
Couldn't
same
just sit
state.
and
Yeah, it
fester
was
in it,
like
yeah.
get up and get a job. Like
Yeah.
you had your time.
Just move.
Right. Like
Yeah.
you are in the world now. Like you need to find your place.
Right.
So, and I, again, kicking and screaming because
Right.
I just was like, what do I do? Like same thing.
So fast forwarding now to better times, right?
Yes.
You are married with 2 kids, Griffin and Beckett, ages 5 and 4.
Correct.
What's that like now that you're starting to see them go through sports?
Oh, I'm so excited. And again, because I think it's that just like having that thrill of having that competitiveness. Now, I'm not
Yes.
playing,
Yeah.
but watching them play, like it's so exciting. Like it's
I was
just
about to say.
exhilarating watching them. Like he plays soccer too, and those I don't know soccer, and I
Right.
was like, you want to play soccer? Like nothing
Yeah.
against soccer, I just never played it. I didn't know it, but those are the most exciting games to
Yeah.
watch. You just like we're like jumping up and down,
Everyone's
we're
going
yelling,
nuts.
like so it is a lot of fun. I hope that they continue to play baseball. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what I want their number one sport to be.
For sure. Also mine, I hope they play baseball.
Yeah, and softball.
Yeah, and softball. And
Right?
softball.
Yeah.
Same thing for, because Griffin came in with your husband the other day, and like I think it was his last soccer game that had just happened, and he's like, I scored like 3 goals.
Dude, he went off that game.
Yeah, he said I scored like 3 goals, and I was like, oh, did you win? And then he's like, they don't keep score.
You know why he said that? Because we lost that game.
Oh, really?
We were going for 2 seasons of being undefeated, and that was our last game of that second season. We were going to go undefeated for 2 seasons, and we lost that game, and that's why he said
That's why
that. Because he keeps the score
He keeps scoring.
every time.
But yeah, I was like, you did so good. He goes, they don't keep scoring. He like looked off, and I was like,
That is hilarious. Yeah, no, we lost that game.
Yeah, no, it was so funny. So,
That's funny.
How do you deal with that situation from being competitive but not being over the top? Because everyone knows parents are also the biggest career killers alongside
Yeah.
coaches.
Sure.
So like, how do you navigate that threshold? Or are you still learning?
I'm still learning. I have to remember that Griffin's only 5. And so when he doesn't want to go practice every single day,
Yeah.
I'm like, but like, why? What are you doing? You're watching TV. Like, get up. Like, let's go. And I have to kind of remind myself, like, I don't want him to hate baseball at the age of 6.
Right.
Right. So I'm still learning that. Me and Dan both are still trying to navigate to like not go over the top and push him
Yes.
out of the sport.
Push him out of it.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's very easy to do.
Yes.
Very easy to do.
Yes. Especially depending on your kid.
Yeah. Yes. So that's why we're very excited for Beckett to play because
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna be like our.
I think they might push each other
Yes.
to the max, and they'll
Yeah.
probably bring the best out of each other.
Because they'll be competitive. They already are, like with other things. So I have no doubt when it comes to sports, they'll
Yes.
be extremely competitive.
And I'm really hoping that Beckett brings out more competitive side from Griffin, just
Yes.
in general, because
Yep.
everyone's sibling can
Yeah, yeah.
bring it out of them,
Oh, yeah.
right?
They're
But,
very
like,
much in that right now.
If they can learn to do it to others outside,
Yeah.
they'll be
Yeah.
shooting for the stars.
Yeah, so I'm still learning.
Yeah. Well, Joey, it's been almost an hour. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks
It was
for
an
having me.
absolute blast, and hopefully I can get you on again when the boys are a little bit older.
Yeah,
And we can
absolutely.
circle back to that.
Would love it.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
5, 4, 3,